here as my assistant. Yes. Come on up. Everyone will need one of these. I suggest keeping this with you and using this as your guide to packing when you're packing. It is the 10 essentials. Are there more than 10 essentials? There's definitely more than 10 essentials. So, I'm going to give you this.
Yep.
There's one for everyone. Keep it with your maps and keep it with your kit. Just put it in the top compartment of your backpack. If you're going for day pack, would you still use your 10 essential scouts? Let's say you're going to Multnomah Falls. You're going to hike up to Larch Mountain. Would you use your 10 essentials then? Yes, you could need them then, definitely. So let's go through, once everybody has them, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a scout. I was a Cub Scout, then a Bear Scout, then a Weebelo, and have lots of years on the trail. I was a guide. I worked at Timberline for 10 years. I have my NOLS Wilderness Medical Certification. Parents, that's for you. Any parents? There you go, sir. I spend a lot of time outside. I have 2 daughters. They spend a lot of time outside. We just were up on the Timberline Trail camping and just come back from Montana and from the San Juan Islands paddling. I like the bicycle, I like the kayak. I'd love to hike. Hiking is probably my favorite thing. Okay, so let's start with, first on the list, anyone. What's the first thing on the list? Tell me what it is.
Pocket knife?
Pocket knife. Now, we're just going to brush on that because many of you are still going to be doing your certification for carrying a pocket knife. There are different options. When you're just starting out, I always like to recommend a fixed blade. And what does that mean? A fixed blade means that the handle and the blade are together. Okay? Like this. A folder, like this, is complex. This knife has a liner lock. I like this because sometimes I have to be a first responder, so I can use this with one hand. I can use it just one-handed. But there's a couple of pitfalls. So your parents will help you navigate that. I like fixed blade to start with scouts. What are 3 places that you don't want to bring your knife?
Public.
Well, public, you're going to be on the trails when you're in public. Would you bring your knife to school?
No.
Any show of hands, who would bring their knife to school? No, definitely not. Would you bring it to the airport? What if you're traveling?
No.
Definitely not. They have quite a collection at the airport of knives that they give people. Where's another place that you might want to bring it? Go ahead, what was that? No, there's no wrong answers. Speak up, I can't hear you. Well, that's unfortunate that we're having that conversation. But it's a little early for that in the day for me. So the other place that you want to bring in is a sporting event. You have some pickles, you have a Timbers Day. They have metal detectors at sporting events, and you will lose your knife. Don't bring it. Put it in your pack. Keep it there. Don't get it out. What happens when you get your knife out? Invariably. And you're not using it.
They confiscate it?
Well, you get cut. So don't get your knife out. All right, let's go on to the next one. First aid kit. I would like everyone here to go through and take a look at my first aid kits. I have first aid kits for the car, okay? They have very specialized things in them. They have forceps, they have surgical scissors. I'm fortunate to have many friends that are doctors and nurses, and they gift me all kinds of really cool things. So, one thing I love to carry, and I use a lot, as you can tell, is duct tape. Why might I put duct tape in my first aid kit? Can you think of a reason? Anyone? Come on, you got your hand up? What are you thinking? No? Parents, why would I bring duct tape?
Fix
You can make a injury.
I can fix my boot with duct tape, and I have before. I've had a sole come off on the Pacific Crest Trail. I fix it with duct tape. It was fantastic. Boots are expensive, parents. You want to keep them in good shape, you may have to have duct tape on the trail someday. So I always carry this. What's another thing I could use duct tape for? In my first aid kit. Kind of odd to have duct tape in your first aid kit.
Oh.
Kai?
Like blisters maybe?
Yes, you can tape your feet. Most people don't know that, Kai. That's really good. So there's a sticky side to duct tape, and there's a shiny side. And the shiny side slides really easily. So if you have issues, if you have an injury or a wound on your foot, or if you have blisters, moleskin, this kit, a couple of these kits come with moleskin, doesn't really work. Duct tape is fantastic. This will slide inside your boot, it will slide inside your sock, it will get you back home.
Good to
Okay.
know.
This was a big role, okay, in maybe 4 or 5 years of backpacking, hiking, backcountry, wilderness. This is how much I've used of this. So always put duct tape in, very important. Okay, let's go on to 3. Number 3, anyone read that?
Extra clothing?
So what does extra clothing mean? What does it mean to you? Give me an example.
Like if you get your clothes dirty or if it gets
Wet. If you get wet. Because right now it's warm out, but if we're hiking in old growth forest and you decide you're going to go try to cross that log down at the creek and it's a little bit slick and you fall in, you need to have dry clothes. Okay? So what does that mean? And this ties into rain gear, which is the next one. So we're going to do these two together. Is this a rain jacket?
No.
Okay. Is a Tommy jacket, a Tommy Hilfiger jacket, a rain jacket?
no.
No, it's a fashion piece. Okay. So that's important to differentiate because you don't want to be hiking in Tommy. Okay. You want something that has a material like this. It is breathable. It is waterproof.
Like a poncho?
Ponchos get caught on things. I don't recommend a poncho. I recommend a jacket that fits you well. Ponchos, because they go down too far, you can't put it over your pack because it's not designed to put over a pack, and they get caught on things, and you don't have access. This particular jacket from Marmot, it's from REI. It was super cheap. It was literally like $29. As you can tell, I've had this a long time. It's got campfire burns in it. It smells like smoke. And I just keep it in with my kit. This also has these really cool pit zips. All right? When we're hiking, when we have our pack, when we're carrying 30, 35 pounds, it is work. And so this is a really nice piece to have. This is probably, out of all of these things here, this is one of the most important things, parents, as far as equipment. Buy a good jacket, buy a jacket that fits, spend a little bit on it. You'll be glad you did. Kids grow fast, I understand that. Okay, so we're going to cover rain gear and part of clothing. It also ties into sun protection. So, is this a hat, Scouts?
No.
This is definitely not a hat. I passed some Scouts 2 weeks ago at White River. I was on part of the Timberline Trail coming around. I was crossing the stream, and a number of Scouts had a logo version of this, and their neck and their ears were bright red because it was really a sunny day. Okay, this is not a hat. This is a hat. This is a fantastic hat. Kai, can you model this for us? Thank you. Going to put that on. Put that on. Model that for us. Okay, there you can go one version. This is a fairly new piece of equipment. What Kai has on. This is really important. He's going to cinch it up. Okay, it won't blow off. If you're hot and you're carrying a lot, like I dip this in the stream, and it has a liner that absorbs water, and it will keep you cool on a hot day. This is going one version further. Okay, if I'm in Southern Oregon, or if I'm in California or Arizona, Nevada, Four Corners, I use this. Again, this can be dipped in the water. It has ventilation on the top. Okay, can you model that for me?
For your backpack. Oh, that guy's.
Yeah. So that's really important to protect your neck when you're hiking. Can you turn around so they can see? Pull that neck flap in.
Wow.
Okay, when you're on the Pacific Crest Trail or the Timberline Trail or Paradise or Elliott Glacier on Mount Hood, where you're really exposed, you are out in the sun for, it's above, keep in mind, it's above the tree line. It's above the alpine line. There is no shade. There's nothing to get under. You're going to really want that. You're going to really want that feature. Again, this is, I don't know, $15. Again, one of the best pieces of equipment that I have. Okay, that ties into, I want to talk about footwear a little bit. That's been in the news recently. Who watches or listens to the news? Anybody? Any Scouts? I love to use. Okay. There's a guy in Death Valley last week. He's from Belgium. He's unnamed. It's 124 degrees in the morning there. He's wearing flip-flops. So within about 10 minutes, he's in the dunes. Within about 10 minutes, this is real, his flip-flops melt. They literally, this part melts. He's barefoot. He's 10 short minutes in the car. By the time he gets to help, someone who can help him call first responders, the skin has melted off his feet. So I don't say that to startle you or to make you concerned, but you have to take care of your feet. The number one thing that I see in wilderness medicine, I'll go back to the duct tape, people's feet. Their feet get damaged, they get injured, they roll an ankle. What's another thing you can use duct tape for?
Shoes? Fire.
You can use
Start a fire, right?
You can make a fire with it. That's true. Very good. You can also make a split with it. Okay. So this is why I put this in my pack. I don't use this very often, but I've used this before to make a split, and it has it's all sticky from tape because someone in another group rolled their ankle. That's why I don't have very much of this left. Okay. This used to be like that. So we're going to talk about footwear a little bit. This is great when you go to Merriweather. It's great to have flip-flops when you get down to the beach, right? When you're at the pool, fantastic. They have a place. They don't belong on the mountain. They certainly don't belong in the desert. There's thorns and all kinds of stuff. So these, where might I wear these shoes? These are A-Solo. They're, again, I get a lot of stuff from REI and Mammoth and Marmot. I like those brands. They seem to last. These are A-Solos. They have a lot of wear on them, as you can see. Where would I wear these? Where would you wear these?
Trails, hiking.
Trails. Would you wear them in the gorge?
No.
Yeah, you could wear these in the gorge. Yeah, you could wear these in the gorge. You could. But you're going to wear these where you don't need a lot of support here, okay? You're going to use them on established trails. Right, now let's go up another level, okay? So where would you wear these boots? A boot like this?
Like, it has like,
Where there's no trail or very thin trails, okay? So at Timberline, we would wear a boot like this. So what parents need to think about is tennis shoes really don't work for a lot of purposes. You shouldn't be able to, like I can't really bend this. If you bend your tennis shoe, you can bend it pretty easily. It'll fold in half, right? So the shoe should have some support. It should have a lug sole. These shoes are Gore-Tex. They're water resistant. Does that do me much good? They're kind of low, not really. But different shoes for different purposes. You might have to bring in a pack, a couple different things. Okay, let's talk about flashlights and headlamps. Okay, flashlight should be fairly small. I like to have this light. I have several in my first aid kits. Okay. I have a lot of stuff. You guys should look at this. I have a lot of stuff in here that you need to think about. Do you need to spend a lot on a first aid kit? No, first aid kits are a couple $100. These are again from Next Adventure. They were like $9. But what I've done is, as I go around the house, I'll add things to them. I have this syringe that we had that I used for the dog to give her medicine. I ran through the dishwasher, I cleaned it. I can use it if you get something in your eye, which is another common thing when you're backpacking and you're up on the mountain. It's windy, dust is blowing around, it's volcanic, things are abrasive, you're gonna need that. I like this flashlight because I can use it and still use my hands. So think about that. Don't bring the biggest flashlight that you have. You won't need it. This is another good size. This is another good size. I can focus the beam. How about, let's talk about hydration a little bit. Who can tell me which container should I use if I'm going for a full day, 4 or 5 hours? What do I need?
The biggest one.
The black one? You think that's enough?
No.
I need 2 liters of water. I need this full, not orange juice or Gatorade, and certainly not this. right? It's yummy, but it's for home. So I need 2 liters plus, and then I'm gonna put in, I like to have what I call a little bit of a reserve. I like to have about 25%. So if I'm bringing food, I have a reserve, okay? This is bone broth and yummy ramen. It's delicious. I love ramen. Gotta have a way to cook it. That's the difference. Bone broth, you don't have to cook. You can just mix that with water. So if you're carrying this is enough for a day?
No.
No.
Definitely not. You should have drank this before you started hiking. This is a little over a pint, 1.1 pint. Yeah, question.
What if you don't have the bag?
Don't worry about this. This is coming.
Oh.
Okay, parents are going to look for this. Sometimes packs, this particular pack, this is 18 liters. I use this a lot when I'm hiking in the gorge. This is my day pack. If I'm going down to the beach, I'll have my first aid kit. What else will I have in there, in this pack? I'm going to the beach for the day.
More.
Sunscreen?
Exactly. I've got examples of sunscreen here, all right? So what SPF? Who knows about SPF? What does that mean?
Sunscreen protection?
Yeah, you got 2. Sun protection. What could F stand for? Factor. It's a scientific measure of how much it protects you, more or less, okay? So I have different options there. I use sunscreen in combination with a hat, and I'll always bring a jacket, especially if I'm up in the alpine areas. So hydration is very important. You need to start hydrating in the morning before you go, and make sure you keep hydrating through the day. When would we like a bottle like this? Parents, as you're buying bottled water and things, what could I use this for besides just water? What have I used this for before? Come on, I can see you guys thinking.
Oil,
Girls,
maybe?
ladies, you can cook in it.
Oh, it's metal,
I
bruh.
have cooked delicious bone broth in this because it fits right on the top of my stove. It fits in the grooves. So you can tell I've made it for lunch. You could cook in it. Okay. What else could I use this for? When I'm thinking about packing all this stuff, Kai's got a lot of stuff in that bag. He's going to be at about mile 7. He's going to be wondering if he could leave some things at home. What things can you use for other things? What things can you use for twice? What are multipliers? They're called multipliers in your kit.
Can
What-
you reuse it?
You can reuse it, yes, and I do reuse it. But what else could I use it
Make a
for?
coffee.
Pardon?
Make a coffee.
Yeah, I've made Vietnamese coffee in this. Just you shake it up, right? So I can use this if I cut this can inside out and I'm in trouble. I hike by myself a lot. I don't recommend that. You should always go with a buddy. It's a good idea. I hike by myself a lot because I retired very early. Most of my friends are still working. You can't go. If it's Wednesday and I want to hike, I'm going to go and hike. But I'm going to bring this stuff, okay?
Wow.
Because I, as a first responder, somebody who responds to people being injured, you learn very quickly that you need to be able to take care of yourself. Self-reliance, okay? What's the Scouting motto?
Be prepared.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Prepare for anything?
Prepared for most things. We can't be prepared for everything. That's good. So what does that mean? If I have a bag full of stuff, what else do I need to be prepared for? Do I need to be prepared physically?
No.
Mentally?
Definitely need to be prepared physically. Mentally,
Yeah.
yes, mentally. How do I do that? How do I prepare myself mentally?
Be
Come on, you already
confident.
have, you know the answer. Let's have it. I have lists and research. This is my research. This is from the Scouter's Handbook. You guys all have access to
Being
this.
confident.
Yes.
Confident? Yes, that's very good. And part of being confident is doing your research. Do I know where I'm going? Do I have the correct map? Okay? So let's take just a moment to talk about maps while we're doing this. And this is really, and then we're going to wrap it up, okay? We're going to talk about map and compass. We're not going to go into fire starters a lot, okay? But I want you to think about something. This is your homework, okay? And I don't want you to look it up on the internet. I want you to look it up in a book or go to your Scouter's manual. It's in there. Can I use this battery to start a fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody know how? How would I do it? No, yes, please.
A gum wrapper, maybe? Because
Yes, you can
it
use
has metal
anything
in
that's conductive. Is a gum wrapper conductive? What's it covered in?
Metal?
it. Like
Yeah, foil.
Foil.
Okay. You can use steel wool. I could use a wire. I could take my cell phone charger apart and actually use it for something that would benefit me in the wilderness. Let's take a moment and talk about wilderness versus backcountry. What does backcountry mean? What does that mean when you think about it?
Civilized.
Yeah, you have some contact. The backcountry means there are generally roads, okay? They're generally roads and they're generally services. You could get help. Your phone, okay, is this one of the 10 essentials?
No.
No.
Is my Apple Watch one of the 10 essentials?
No.
Why is that?
Because
Well, because why? Why is it?
Because sometimes they don't work in the wilderness.
Well, they definitely don't work. You get down in the canyon and it doesn't work. This has a compass on it. It has all kinds of really neat features, but you don't have service. What's another thing that can fail with your phone?
Battery?
Battery. It's not charged up.
there's
I-
no plug.
Well, there's no way to, there are ways to charge it that are solar chargers, but I don't want you guys to be reliant on your phones. I want you to think about all of these things that we have. And I have some prizes. I'm gonna ask some questions, okay? We're not gonna get too much into map and compass because I want to do that. I want you to do that with you guys. And we're gonna have a destination and you're going to have to find it, okay? You have to find, I'm gonna have a list of 3 different things. You're gonna have to find them on this map. And there's a lot of information on this map. It tells me about topography. What's topography? Anybody? Topography means the contour of the land. So I know that, I know at Elliott Glacier, I know that when I'm camping there, I'm gonna be at, it looks like about 5,200 feet. I have to pack differently for 5,200 feet. I'm not in the trees. There's no wood. How am I gonna cook my food? Everything changes. There's a lot of information on the maps. Our cell phones aren't always right, the directions. Our maps always right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if they're the
kind
right
of.
one.
No.
Mostly.
Well, if
This
they're the right
map,
one.
this map was printed, and as you can tell, it has some holes in it. It gets used a lot.
Oh.
This
Or-
map,
Or if it's older version.
yeah, so this map was printed in 2014. And in 2014, a couple things happened in the Mount Hood National Forest. Several roads closed. Roads by Ramona Falls. Still Creek Road closed.
Maybe
I
some
have-
mountains change too over like time.
Yes, so on the trail, that's great, Kai. So on the trail, if I were to follow this map and to go to Elliott Glacier to go hiking with you today, what I would find is the entire mountain has slid away, okay? And it's down in the basin now by Lawrence Lake. The entire glacier is broken off. The trail has disappeared. But on this map, it looks good. We're good to go. We're going, okay? So just a couple weeks ago, some people got in trouble at Ramona Falls, which is someplace that you guys will definitely go. The snow is in the shadows, but on the map, does it show snow? Is there information? Does my phone? If I check on my phone, if I bring up Ramona Falls, there are beautiful pictures of summertime and the trail and people in their, what are they wearing? They're wearing their flip-flops, right? Okay? And they're in bathing suits and they're bathing in the falls. But that's not how conditions actually are. That's not the reality. So all of this stuff is important. Any questions? Any questions on all this stuff? Do we have time for them to file through and take a look at all this stuff? Yes. All this stuff? And if you think of questions, you can ask Vu or Twee, and I live in the same neighborhood right across the street. Vu can ask me, Kai can come over and ask me, and then we'll cover the rest of the stuff when we're out. So you have an application, so it's real. How do I make a fire with a battery? Well, you're gonna find out. I've done that several times. There's things in my medical kit. I have alcohol pads for prepping wounds, for cleaning. That you can make fire with that, and with anybody wear eyeglasses. There's eyeglasses
I know how
right
you make a
there.
fire with that.
You have eyeglasses. Can I see your eyeglasses? They're fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. So, can I make a fire with these eyeglasses?
Yes.
I can. I can make a fire fairly quickly. It might surprise you how quickly I
Solar
can.
fire?
Solar, yes, so I'm focusing, so if I have the light, for example, I won't catch your garage on fire, I promise. Okay, so if I have the light, you can see how right here it is focused. This is not a very strong prescription. My glasses, this would be smoking right now, okay? So if I angle that, you can see right there, and if I get down, there's a certain point, and if I hold steady, it concentrates the light, and the lens will start a fire. Okay? There's that. I'll give you those back. They're unharmed. All right. So betadine packs in your first aid kit. What can I use those for? Not everybody has a water filter. I like these, parents. If you have a chance, get a couple of these. Why are these good? Nalgene is great. I like these two, but these conform to your pack. So when you're packing, Vu is going to tell you all about that. When you're packing, you can always have an extra liter because always these fit flat. It's called a platypus. They're fantastic. They come in 2 packs. They're just a few dollars. Okay, and they seal up really tight. So if you pack your stuff, much like Kai has there, and you jam stuff in, it won't leak. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Scouts. If you have any questions, please ask who. Are you sure you don't have questions? Because I think you have questions.
George, you might if they can kind of go up there and just kind of see things. real quick,
Yeah,
ask
please,
questions,
yeah, please
whatever.
file by. There's lots of
Yeah.
different things. This is now, some of this stuff is open and used because I've had to use this stuff. I'm going in a few minutes up to government camp to teach a class on wilderness medicine. We'll talk about that another day. You guys want to file?
Go ahead, come up and take a look.
What was that?
What George had to go.
Let's turn it go up and look. There's a lot of good items.
So I have a lot of I don't want to. I don't want to.
Not everybody has it. Not everybody has your clothing.
That's a cover for the.
Oh, nice chair.
That's a stove. This is stove.
And I go to camp.
Where's the stove? Yes.